All right, so the time has come for me to do a details kit. Detail SS, the details double din kit. So I posted a video a couple months ago on the Etchus double din kit. And if you didn't know, there's two different companies that makes them. So there's Etchus. They also make like engraved door handles and armrest savers, and they do all kinds of custom engraving and stuff like that. Shout out to them. Scott Zimmerman on Facebook. He's the owner of Etchus. And then there's the details, which is Sean Anderson, I believe, or yeah, I think that's Sean. But anyway, this is, and they were the original ones. This kit actually came first. Yeah, Anderson at thedetailss.com. So yeah. So Sean Anderson. So actually, this was the first double din kit on the market that was made for these Impalas. And I don't know what happened. Sean had stopped making them for a long time, and people were like, yo, we need a double din kit. We need a double din kit. So Etchus stepped in and they developed their own kit. I'm running the Etchus kit in my car. I've done the Etchus kit on several cars. That's usually the kit that I was running. But I figured this time I'll try the details kit and make a video about it so you guys can kind of see the differences. So I got it all unboxed here. The one thing I did forget to grab was aftermarket harness for this car. So I'll have to get it tomorrow. And I forgot my big A&L fuses. So I've talked about this car before. Everybody kind of has a love-hate relationship with this car because of the color. It's a Destroyer Gray. So I think it's a color from the Kia Stinger, whatever. Belongs to my boy Derek. He was at the Nashville meet. His car was on the trailer with mine and Torian's when we went to Nashville. I met Derek probably almost 2 years ago. He reached out to me, brought me the car. I bought this engine from Ivan and installed it, and I'm pretty sure it's a pretty built motor. I pulled the valve covers off, and it was like aftermarket rocker arms, and when I did the oil pan gasket, it's got scat rods and icon pistons, and it very well might be a stroker, but it's a built motor. It's definitely not a stock motor. Runs really good. So I put the motor in it, got it running. He took it, got it painted. I mean, this car completely transformed. And I just did suspension on it. I did the extended control arms, put brakes all the way around, new shocks, the whole nine. So I digress. I'm in the midst of an audio install now. So I got all the seats taken out and stuff so I can run it under the carpet the right way. So you don't have a big bulge there on the side. I actually run it down in between the seat rails so you don't even see the wiring. So this is what I got done so far. 2 Memphis amps, 300 times 4 and a 1200.1. I got it mounted pretty much the same way I do all my amp racks. I found a system and it works. And we got 2 Memphis M6 Mojos. And then we're doing a JVC double din. And I believe this is the same one I put in the last video I did when I did the Etchus kit for the DCM Impala with the rose gold 24-inch concave replicas. I believe this is the same radio. And I like this one because it's shorter, so you don't have to cut your AC ducting in behind the dash. So got it all laid out, got the instructions and stuff like that. So let me get into it here. All right, so we got the main similarity with the Etchus kit and the details kit is the faceplate. Basically, I believe it's going to be the same process. We're going to cut this out and epoxy this in here. And actually, I won't lie, this one actually looks a little like it fits a little bit better. But we'll see once we get in there. And because I know with the Etchus kit, you got to cut, really, it covers up the whole thing. So this one kind of fits like right in there. So we may need to be a little bit more precise with our cutting, but we'll see. Looks like it comes with a antenna adapter. You got your epoxy. I'm guessing these are the plates to be able to slide it back and forth to adjust it. And I imagine this is going to be the main frame. The AC controls are going to mount here, and then you're just based on, I haven't read the instructions yet, but just based on common sense, this is going to bolt to the side of your double din, and you should be able to, I'm guessing, I don't know, yeah, maybe slide it back and forth, or maybe this is a spacer, I don't know yet. So I'm gonna look over the instructions real quick. I do read instructions, so I'm gonna just browse through it and just see if there's any major differences. I mean, of course, the major difference is the bracket and stuff like that between this and the Etch-a-Skit. So I'll go ahead and read through this real quick, just get a general idea, and then we're gonna hack up this perfect lower dash. This is a nice lower dash. You know what? Before I cut it, give me 2,500 for it right now, and I'll sell it. I'll sell it right now. I'm actually gonna clean it up for him because it looks like there's a little overspray and stuff like that. So when I get done, I'm actually gonna, well, the gray is fine. I'm just gonna redo the black, and I'm gonna have to do the black over anyway to match this with the rest of that. So, you know, it's gonna look all weird if it's all shiny and stuff. So I have some SEM paint, some black paint, and I'll mask this off and I'll paint it so it matches. And I'll actually take you guys through the whole process on this one. On the Etch-a-Skit, I had just did it. I didn't show you the painting part. So I don't have much memory on this. I got about 20 minutes of memory on this card. So I'm gonna try to get as much as I can and you know, and do it before I run out of memory. All right, so based on what I read so far, it's pretty similar. You got to remove the HVAC controls, the AC controls, cut this little thin piece out, drop that down. But there's also a part where it's saying I have to cut a relief hole for some bolts. I don't know yet, so I haven't got that far yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the HVAC removed, drop down, trim this piece, and come back, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so after a few minutes, I got the little centerpiece cut out, pretty standard, and I've got the HVAC mounted to the new bracket. Same thing with the Etch-a-Skit. You have to trim the top of the top mount so it'll sit flush on this one as well. And I found what two reliefs they were talking about. So if you look at the bottom where it mounts, there's these two nuts and bolts, and when you try to line this up with the mounting holes, it hits right here. So the two reliefs you need to cut are right here. So not quite sure how I'm gonna do it yet. I'm thinking maybe just I got the Dremel, so maybe I'll just Dremel it out. I don't think it's gonna look nice. Or I may use the step bit. So I think the step bit might be the nicer option to do this, because I don't think that the Dremel is going to do a good job. So I'm going to get the step bit out with the drill and just drill two little holes there. I'm wondering if maybe I flip this around and just put the screw on this side and put the nut on the front, if that would be, you know, give it enough clearance. But I don't know. So because I mean, it's not off by much. It might give it enough clearance if I put the screw on the back, but I'm gonna do it the way that they said. You know, I read the instructions for a reason, so I'll do it how they said you're supposed to do it. So we'll just, you know what I'll get? I'll put a sanding wheel on there, and I'll just kind of use the Dremel still and just Dremel that down. Actually, I think that'll be a better way to do it. So let me do that and then get it bolted and go from there. I think that should do it. Let's see, I got the other side already done. Let's see. It still needs to come down a little bit to the left. So let's take it down a little bit to the left. That should do it. Let's see. Beautiful. Actually, I think, no, yeah. All the holes are lined up. All right, so I think we can can screw this in now. So I think it's all good to go. Perfect. All right. So that alleviates that confusion where that went. So we'll get this screwed in, and then this part's pretty much done. So I'm at a point where I got to a part where I quite don't understand it. So this is the JVC radio. I like it because it's got a short chassis, so when you put it in there, you don't have to cut this. So with the regular radio, the regular double din, you have to like cut a hole in this and patch it, or put I usually use kill mat to cover the hole up because of how deep it is. When you use these shorter chassis radios, you don't have to do that. It just goes right in. And I actually have one of these, not this same one, but I have a short chassis one like this in my Yukon. It just makes it easier because there's a ton of wires behind there, and it just makes it a lot easier. And if you don't listen to CDs, I don't even own any CDs anymore, so it just makes it a lot easier to install this one. So I'm just trying to figure out, because it came with these extra plates, 2 of them, that would attach here and then also here. So I'm trying to figure out how this works. So if you attach it to this first and then slide it in there, because there's no locking mechanism for it to lock it in place, that would make sense. Like if you attach these to the radio and then there's some type of locking tab or something, and then you just click it in here, kind of like how the cage works. It's got these locking tabs. So normally you'd put this in here, and then the radio has little sockets in there, that little pockets that'll lock it. So I shot Sean Anderson a message, just asking him real quick if I just need to get longer screws, so that it goes through both of them, because the screws that come with the radio are pretty short. They're not long at all, and I don't think they're long enough to go through both. These are the screws. So I mean, it barely goes through one. And if you could imagine, well, I mean, I guess it'll grab a few threads, but I mean, maybe 2, but it's just, they're really short. So, I mean, I'm going to try it right now real quick, now that I've tested it and seeing if they're long enough, but I don't think so, but we'll try it and see. So that didn't work. So that's kind of frustrating, because it doesn't really give any clear instructions in the instructions on how to do that. So that I don't like. It's kind of pissing me off, because the screws that come with the radio aren't long enough to go through the bracket. Screws aren't long enough to go through this and then into the radio. So, and the kit, the box doesn't come with any screws. Now that would have made sense to include long enough screws for that. I don't like that. I don't like that. The Etches kit comes with everything you need. You don't have to, there's nothing special. It goes right in, so, and the cage that comes with the Etches kit, the screws that for the radio are long enough to work. So, based on that fact alone, I'll probably never buy this kit again. Because now I could be wrong. This is just me being frustrated because I've been messing with this for a few minutes, and I shot Sean a message, and maybe he responds and says, oh, this is how you do it, whatever. So I could definitely be wrong, but just based on what I'm seeing here, because even if I just put the radio in here, it's gonna bend these tabs in, and then there's a huge space in the front. So I don't know if that's how it was supposed to be, but it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So it's the next day. Sean messaged me back, and apparently with the older style double dins, when he first started making the kits, the double dins were a lot wider, and so you really didn't need those extra brackets. He added the extra brackets after to accommodate for the thinner, newer double dins. So I do have to get screws, which sucks, and we just got to the shop. It's almost 6 o'clock on the Saturday, so I'm pretty sure Ace is closed, so I won't be able to completely finish it. And I forgot to go to my regular audio distributor to get the harness, but I picked one up from O'Reilly's, and it's basically the same thing. It's just a lot more expensive. Like, I think I paid like $14 for this. My audio distributor, I get it like fraction of that. So Torian's here working on his truck. We had quite an adventure today, as usual, picking up a car and sitting in Atlanta traffic. So he blew out his caliper on the dually, and I don't know what it is with this nigga and brakes and bearings and calipers.
Don't even do that.
Look what he got. Look what he got. Look.
But first
So
of all,
we got to do rotors
no.
and pads on this
The
side,
dude kept my jack.
and
I couldn't do it
a
myself.
caliper over there, and rotors and
The
pads.
shops is wanting $600
So
for a brake job.
yeah.
Fuck that.
So while he does that, I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'll probably get everything at least. I'll get the dash done and cut. I just won't be able to mount the stereo because I don't have the screws. But I'll get this cut out. I'll get it painted. I got the harness so I can hook everything up, power it on, tune it, and do all that. And then when I get the screws, I can mount it, mount it all the way. So I'll be helping him with that while still trying to finish this up. I'm actually having our ink meet here tomorrow. If you guys don't know what that is, that's my car club, Impalas and Caprices. We are a nationwide club. A lot of my subscribers are part of it. We got chapters in a whole bunch of states. We got Ink, Alabama, myself, Torian. If you guys are familiar with Cool Cars KJ, he's also Ink. That's how we met. He's Ink Atlanta. We're all Atlanta. And Atlanta is actually where it started. We're the original chapter. My boy Derek, if he shows up tomorrow, it will be his third meet, because he came to the Nashville meet. He's coming to Cafe and Octane. So I think tomorrow, if he shows up, it'll be his third meet, and he will be officially a member. So I'll be having a meet here. My neighbor's gonna let me use his grill. We're gonna grill. I'm gonna move all these cars out the way. They all run, well, except for the black one. I need to put the tank in it. So I'm gonna move all these cars out the way. That's my spot. And so we'll have space, and should be a good turnout. Probably some cars are gonna show up you guys are gonna recognize. Kendall's car, the one with the Maglias. The car I put the Ruchis on.
I'm not coming.
Torian's not coming. So yeah, should be a pretty good turnout. We're gonna grill, have some drinks, and a lot of people will be coming to the shop for the first time. So should be pretty cool. I've been wanting to do like a grand opening thing for the shop, but I've been so busy just working. I haven't had a chance to really like set the shop up and stuff. So this is as good as it's gonna get. I'll pull Kevin's car out. I'll pull Derek's car out, set them outside. I'll bring my car here tomorrow. My car will be in here. And
I'm not coming.
He's not coming.
I'm not coming.
So it should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to cutting this dash. And what jack handle?
I need a jack handle.
Probably on the jack.
No, like
The small one?
yeah.
It's on the engine stand over here.
Buddy stole my jack handle.
That's about right. He did a whole bunch of work for $200.
True, but still.
All right, let me get to work. So I'm gonna cut the dash, get that cut, and then epoxy it, paint it, whatever. So that part's done. And then we'll finish the wiring. Run the power wire, hook up the ground, run the wiring hook up everything to the radio, power it on, make sure everything works. Let's see how it sounds. So let me get to it. All right, so I'm not sure where I left off in this Details SS install video. When I went back to cut the dash, I have a Milwaukee rotary tool, like a Dremel, and it stopped working, and it kept giving me the lights kept flashing, and it would happen when it would overheat, but this time it just kept doing it. It wouldn't stop. So I ended up having to take it to Milwaukee. We have a like a warranty center about 30 minutes from me. So I took it out there, and they're supposed to be fixing it. Haven't heard from them yet. I took it there last week, so they say it takes about a week or two. So I couldn't finish cutting the dash. So what I did, I went to good old Harbor Freight. I spent $10 on this thing, and this is a unit right here. So I put my regular blade on here. Well, I couldn't find my cutting one. This is a metal grinding wheel, but I just really need to get the inner structure cut, and then I can sand it down to clean it up. So I really just need something that can cut it. So I went and bought that so we can get this cut. I think I was upset about the screws because of trying to figure out how to mount the radio in here. And so I think that's where I kind of left off, was trying to figure out how to mount this bracket with the adapter pieces to the radio. I spoke with Sean. He messaged me. Yes, I do have to go get the screws. So that kind of sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this. Pretty much the same process as the Etchus kit. You just cut it and then sand it. Keep putting the faceplate in it to fit, and then you just kind of sand it. I'm going to use my die grinder and just, you know, sand it down and get it to fit. And then we epoxy, paint. Then I'll go to Ace, get the screws, and then we can get this thing all wrapped up. And I did test it. It works. The sounds sound good. Bass hits hard. Everything sounds good. The only issue I'm having is, I want to say this speaker, one of the front speakers isn't working. And it's not the wiring, because it's not the amp, because I switched it over from the amp. And I remember I was having a similar issue when this was in my car. And when I put the new amp in my car, same thing happened. But one of these speakers isn't playing at all. And I want to say it's the passenger side. So I'm going to have to take this door panel off and try to chase the wiring back and see where the disconnection is and why it's not working. But other than that, everything else sounded good. The Bluetooth hooked up, music hit hard, subs were hitting. Sounded really good. I think he's really going to be happy. And he brought me an Optima battery. So we're going to put the Optima battery up front, and then the battery he has, actually, no, I'm going to put the Optima battery back here, and I'm going to leave this battery up here. So this will be basically the starter battery. And I mean, it's an AGM. No, it's not. Is it? No, it's not AGM. But we'll just leave this up here, start the motor, and then we will put the Optima in the rear to run the system and just have some secondary, because I mean, it was hitting hard. These amps are pretty powerful. So so let me get to cutting and sanding, and I'll update you as I go. This thing sucks. Like, I've been going for a few minutes, and I mean, it hasn't even made it through to every time it tries to break through to the other side, it breaks. I mean, it stops. So this isn't going to be powerful enough for what I need to do. So either I'm going to have to borrow a Dremel from somebody, or wait until my Milwaukee one is done after they fix it. I even tried to use this to even try to see if I can start sanding it down and just go further and further. But I mean, at the rate it's going, it'll take forever to do the whole thing. So I guess I'll move on to something else, and I'll pick this video up when I get my Dremel back, or I borrow a Dremel, and it'll just stretch this video out longer, because I started this video before the barbecue, before the last video I posted going out to help Torian. I had already, the first half of this video was filmed before that. You see I got a haircut, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, so I think I'll just work on figuring out why the fixing that speaker. I'll get the seats in, get everything buttoned up for the most part. I got to figure out a way to mount this box, because it's kind of just teetering, so I may need to cut some spacers and just find a way to mount it somehow, stop it from doing this. And then I'll install the second battery, and that way this car will be pretty much completely done, and then I can actually take it, go get it aligned, and then that way, by the time I do all that, hopefully by then I would have figured out something for this dash to cut it or whatever. So project for today is get this done. So we'll come back to it when, you know, the time comes. All right, so I started this video. Damn, I can't find that roll of paper. But I started this video on the Etchus versus Details double din kit probably like 2 weeks ago. But my Dremel stopped working like right when I started to cut the dash on the inside of the car. This is on Derek's Gray 96. I gotta look at the footage, but I forgot where I left off. I want to say I did all this. I cut everything and got the frame modified and put in and everything. But then when I went to cut the lower dash, that's when I ran into problems. My Dremel broke. I bought a little cheap one from Harbor Freight thinking, you know what, I can just use this to at least just start the cut, and then, you know, I can use once Milwaukee warranties out my Dremel. So I bought this one. Crap. What do I expect for $10? But it didn't even, it actually made it worse and harder to correct. So let me show you. This is mine. This is what I use normally to cut the lower dashes. So it's just, they just gave me a new one. Basically, it took like a week, but they gave me a brand new one. But yeah, it had just stopped working. Like I turned the light, turn it on, it would just flash 4 times and cut off. So I couldn't cut it. So I finally got it back. Long story short, I finished cutting it. I already got the DIN piece epoxied in, so it's in. So I started at the bottom with that other one, and it nicked it here, and it just really made it a lot harder. It nicked it here. It's hard to control, and it really sucks. So I actually made this a lot harder than it should be. But I'm gonna clean this up as much as I can. I'm getting ready to mask it off now so I can color match this, paint it black. I'm gonna paint this black too because it's got some overspray from when he painted this. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and paint this, and then I'm gonna repaint the gray part as well. Actually, once I finish this video, I'm actually gonna start filming another video on this Corvette. A little something different. I like to get, you know, I have viewers, I have subscribers that like all kinds of cars. So if you're a fan of the C5, you will get a little glimpse of what I'm doing to this one. Here's a little teaser, but it needed a new PCM. So I got a new PCM for it. And it's getting a double DIN radio. So this is how you put a double DIN in a C5. You got to buy this whole kit and interface and all the good stuff. But we will save that for later. So the plan is I'm going to mask this off, paint it while it's drying. I'm going to get started on pulling the computer out of that, and I'll do that in a separate upload. But it'll be while I'm doing this. So let me go ahead and get to masking, and we'll get to painting. All right, so I hit it with the first coat. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Clean this side up too. So the process that I use is I use 2 microfiber towels. I use the Sem soap. All right, looks like alien blood. Sem soap. I use that first. Clean off everything really good. Use a good amount. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so I use the Sem soap. Then I hit it with the Sem Prep. 38353. Hit it with the Sem Prep. So after I hit it with the soap, I let it dry, because sometimes that soap is kind of gooey, and if you don't get it all out, it kind of accumulates in the corners. So I let it dry for a little bit. Then I hit it with the Prep, wipe it off again with a different microfiber towel. Then let that sit for a few minutes, and then I spray it with the adhesion promoter. And immediately after hitting it with the adhesion promoter, I hit it with Landau Black. So right now the temperature is about 70 degrees outside, so the cans will normally spray pretty well. The first time I used this product, it was like super cold outside. I was in my garage at home like 2-3 years ago. I was doing the interior on the Impala, and what I had to do was heat up a cup of water and then stick the cans in a cup of water in order for them to spray properly. From time to time, even though the weather outside is warm, the can still gets kind of cold. So if it's not spraying smooth, like if you're not getting a smooth like spray like that, try heating the can up. You know, usually I just get like a bucket of water, put some hot water in it, and then sit the can in it. Don't like boil it because you don't want it to explode. Or I've seen people take like a torch and warm it up. No, I just get a hot cup of water, stick it in there, let it sit for a few minutes, shake it up real well, and then it's good. So if you, as long as you're getting an even spray like that, you're good to go. And I'll normally hit it with 2 coats. So I just did 1 coat, and it should be dry here in just a few minutes because I mean I'm out when doors open and I'm just working outside. So I'm gonna leave it for a few more minutes, let it set, and then I'll hit it again with another coat, and then we'll be done. So this is days later. I don't even remember where I left the video off at. I think I had did the black part. So the lower dash is painted. I got the black painted. I do need to go back over this because I had touched it up and now it looks all weird. So I got to repaint this part. But I got the gray. I went and bought some gray. Got the gray painted in. I bought the screws that I needed to mount the radio because if you remember, like I said, one of the things I kind of hated was that I had to go to Ace and buy screws, but I got them. Cost me like $1.50. So the radio's, it's mounted. So I just got to clean up the lower dash a little bit more and install it, and that will be the end of this part. I got to paint this glove box, finish putting in some other small things, but finish line, guys. Getting to the finish line on this car. Got some other stuff going on though, but probably won't make a whole video about it. But I got Kevin's truck in here, motor's out, got it yanked out today, so that's out. The new motor's over there on the ground, over there on the engine stand. I got some help, guys. He's gone for the day, but I hired somebody yesterday. Actually, and I know him. We actually used to work together at another job, and I knew he wasn't working there anymore. And I just called him up and was like, hey man, what are you up to? You know, and he's like, just working odd jobs, helping my dad, stuff like that. And I was like, look, I know you know how to work on cars and stuff. I can keep you busy. So he was like, hell yeah. So he started yesterday. He came in the afternoon yesterday, and we pretty much, he helped me with getting this motor. I mean, we did it in about a few hours. Started yesterday, got it to where it was ready to pull, came in today, yanked it out. So gonna be catching up on a lot of these projects, getting some of these cars that have been sitting around here out. So I'm really excited about that. I'm super excited about that because I mean, I don't even know when I was gonna be able to pull this motor out or when I was even gonna do it. So having him here, getting that yanked out in about a day, not even a day, few hours. Then I gotta go tomorrow, pick up all the gaskets and stuff for it and drop it in or whatever. And then we just got this engine dropped off today. This is an LS2 out of a Trailblazer SS. And I'll go more into this project once we start on it. But details double din versus etches video is almost done. I gotta mask off the gray part and just re-hit the, see, like, yeah, I gotta re-hit this. I just don't like the way it looks. So I'm gonna mask it back off and hit the black one more time and then install it, paint the glove box, install that, wrap it all up, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. Not gonna be good. I'm not happy with it, with the etch, with the details kit at all. I'm not. There's extra steps you have to take, you know, that you don't have to take on the etches kit. And then that thing with the screws, man, that, I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal. It's not like the screws are super expensive, you know, it's $1.50 to get some screws, but just not having them and having to, you know, take one of the screws to this hardware store and find the right, you know, it's just an extra step that I have to take that slows down the whole process. That's not noted in the instructions or anything like that. I mean, hell, he could toss a bunch of those screws in with the kits and that would change everything. You know, because I had to find time to go to the hardware store and get those screws in the midst of doing all this. So, you know, yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's not a bad product. Those screws are just the main thing. And then this process was a little flawed because my Dremel broke and different things like that. But still, those screws, not having those and having to hunt those down in order to mount the radio, that's a real deal breaker for me. If he included the screws, we'd be good. It wouldn't be as bad. I'd be like, you know, go with either one. But, you know, you know, that's just my opinion, you know. I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored by either of these companies. It's just, I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion because I install these products, I use them every day. I've used plenty of them, and I just want to, you know, people message me and say, hey, which one should I order? And I'm like, you know, I never did the details, so I don't know. I always do the etches. So, you know, I was like, let me give etches a shot. Not etches, let me do the details kit, give that a shot just to see, you know, so I can give an honest opinion and, you know, go from there. So I'm gonna get this thing masked up, painted, and installed in the glove box, and I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, so it's been it's like 3 days later. I don't even remember where I left this video off at, but I'm finally finished with all the ups and downs and trials and tribulations. Finally finished the sound system on this car, got the dash installed, got everything wrapped up. So there it is. So that's your details kit. I'm not 100% happy with it because of a couple little nicks here and there. That was when I was trying to use the Harbor Freight Dremel, and that thing sucks. So, you know, what can you do? But overall, my thoughts on the details kit. It's a cool kit. It can work. It has its pros. However, that deal with the screws was just a real deal breaker for me. That knowing that every time I have to install this kit, I have to go buy screws, or, you know, if I continue to buy the same kit, I can just keep a bunch of screws in stock. But for somebody who doesn't do this as much as I do and do multiple cars and do it all the time, I can see how it could be a real inconvenience. So Sean, maybe that's something you can do, include the screws with the kit, and that would be, you know, that'd be really cool, because I do like the ability to, I will say this, one of the main pros about it versus the etches kit is the ability to slide the radio back and forth easily. With the etches kit, there's these two plates that bolt to the side that you screw into the side of the double din, and it's got little notches, and you got to kind of guess which notch, you know, to give you the right spacing. At least with this one, it's just a slider, so you can just slide it back and forth. So that I do like. You know, if I could give one of the major pros, that is one of the major pros to the details kit. Even the din, the piece that you have to epoxy looks a little bit more factory, with the beveled edge and stuff like that. I do like the way it looks. You know, but like I said, the only major con with it is so down here where it mounts, you have to drill 2 holes, which is, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just an extra step you have to do. And then the screws. I mean, they pretty much cost the same. If you don't have an issue getting the screws and you're cool with, you know, and you like the slider option versus the clips, you know, then this would be the kit for you. I do like it. I will say that, you know, that the slider versus the little clips, that's one thing I don't like about the etches kit, is the little clips that bolt, because they're all, you know, you got to hold them and try to screw them and stop them from moving, and they fall out of place, and if they're not equal distance, you know, it gets a little funny. But with this one, I do like the slider option. So this thing's pretty much wrapped up. I got the center console installed from Adrian Rogers. I have another one coming for that car over there, so I'm probably going to make a video on how to do that. I've had a couple of people ask, and I'll show you how I wired up. I wired up to the light that goes in here, and I put quick connects on it, so if you do need to pull this off, you can just disconnect it. But I mean, it's pretty simple. It's in there, and, you know, so that's that. So last thing for Derek's car is going to be going to get the gears. We're throwing some 373s in here. Once we get that done, we'll get it back to him, and he can finally enjoy it, because I'm tired of looking at it. I'm ready for it to go. I love you. I love doing this, but it's time for you to go. You've been here way too long. I've had this car before I even had the shop. So it's been a few months. He dropped it off to my house. And then a little sneak peek of a new project we got in the house. Picked this car up 2 days ago. If you know, you know. This car belonged to somebody very prevalent in the B-body world. He sold it. The client reached out to me and wanted to just do some interior work because it runs amazing. And I actually didn't know that this was the guy that bought his car. And then when I picked it up, I was like, oh, I know this car. So this will get some interior stuff, and I think I'll do a video on the center console lid from Adrian Rogers in this one, and show you guys how to wire it up and how I install it and stuff like that. So this is an upcoming project, and then we're gonna get all these cars knocked out, get that knocked out, get that knocked out, get that finished, and then we'll finish the swap from hell. Oh, and lastly, got my Silverado back. And she's got some new meats. Put some new tires on it yesterday. Went a little smaller on the tires because I'm getting ready to lower it. So she looks a little like she skipped leg day. But once I lower, I'm going to drop it 2 inches. So that'll bring the rear probably to about here. And then the front will come down quite a bit. I may go lower. We'll see. Once I do the 2-inch drop, we'll see how it looks. And then we'll finish getting the 6.0 built for it. I got to drop it off to the machine shop, and then when I get it back, I'll build it, drop it in. But these are some really nice tires. I like the way they ride. They're nice and soft. They're Kumos, and I went with a 275 45/20. What was on here before was a 275 55/20. So I went a considerably smaller. But I think once I lower it, it'll look pretty good, because I got plenty of clearance now in the front because it used to rub in the front with the bigger tires. So we should be good. So say goodbye to this thing. I'm gonna get the gears knocked out on it and get it the hell out of here. So that's it for this long, drawn out video. I probably change outfits, got a haircut, gained some weight since I've started this video. I've been dying to get this stuff off my memory card so I can go ahead and just edit it and get it out of here. So appreciate the likes, comments, subscriptions, share the video, like the video. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to my boy Corey KJ. I really wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him. He's the one that really inspired me to get the YouTube channel started. He always shouts me out whenever he can, so shout out to him. Oh, by the way, Corey, got something for ya. We got an OBS in the shop. This belongs to Kevin Cook. Got the motor yanked out. Got the new motor going in. So I know Corey loves those OBSs, so look out for this one. We got some stuff that I'm gonna be doing for Kevin on this one. Hopefully I can get it running in the next few days. I got some help at the shop now, my boy Jake. So I told y'all, I put an ad out and nobody wanted to work. Nobody wanted to work, so I got some help. So he's gonna be learning all the cool shit that I be doing, and learning how to do LS swaps on Impalas and all kinds of stuff. You missed out. But anyway, y'all, that's it for this video. We'll get this posted, and we'll move on to the next. Oh, a little sneak peek. We're almost done with this one. Just waiting on the reservoir to come in for the power steering pump, and we'll get this one wrapped up. But anyway, that's for another video. Catch y'all later.